How to Win Friends and Influence People. The Hidden Code of Human Nature. Why is this book still at the top of the bestseller list? Because no matter how advanced technology becomes, the hardware of human beings remains the same. Carnegie teaches us this. When dealing with people, we are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion, filled with prejudice, motivated by pride and arrogance. This video is not just a book summary. It is a guide to human engineering that you can use in your professional life, marriage, and social circle. Basic techniques for dealing with people and the paradox of criticism. Carnegie's first lesson is the hardest. Stop criticizing. Why? Because criticism is like a dove returning home. It always comes back to you. When you criticize someone, their brain's survival mechanism kicks in. Even if they are wrong, they will invent thousands of excuses to justify themselves and protect their self-esteem. Criticism inflicts a wound in the heart that is difficult to heal and completely destroys any chance of cooperation. The second fundamental technique is genuine appreciation. Carnegie draws a sharp line between flattery and appreciation. Flattery comes from the teeth and is fake. Appreciation comes from the heart and is selfless. People's deepest hunger is the desire to be important. The person who feeds this hunger can influence the world. Abraham Lincoln's bitter experience. Young Lincoln enjoyed criticizing and ridiculing people. One day, he ridiculed his political rival so harshly in the newspapers that his rival challenged him to a duel. Facing death that day, Lincoln vowed never to humiliate anyone again. Even during the darkest days of the Civil War, when his generals made grave mistakes, instead of condemning them, he empathized, saying, "If I were in their place, I probably would have made the same mistake." The secret to Lincoln's success was that he stopped judging people and focused on understanding them. 6 ways to make people like you. When you enter a room, do you say, "Here I am," or "It's so good to see you"? That's where the difference lies. According to Carnegie, remembering someone's name is the greatest gift you can give them. A name represents that person's entire identity. When you forget it, you're sending the message, "You're not important to me." Also, being a good listener is not a passive act. It's about creating space for the other person to talk about their passions, dreams, and problems. People describe someone who listens attentively as the smartest and most empathetic person in the world. Jim Farley's Memory of 50,000 Names. Jim Farley was the man who managed Franklin D. Roosevelt's election campaigns and played a key role in his success. So, what was his secret? Farley would make a note of the name of every farmer, shopkeeper, and civil servant he met, along with their spouse's name and how many children they had. Years later, when he returned to those towns, he would greet people by name and ask about their families. People would think, "This man actually remembers me. I'm important to him," and they would become fiercely loyal to him and the candidate he represented. Farley had created a precedent with a simple name recall technique. How to persuade people to your way of thinking. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. If you lose an argument, you lose. Even if you win, you still lose because you've hurt the other person's pride and made them your enemy. The key to persuasion is to get the other person out of a defensive position. To do this, use the Socratic Method. Find common ground and get the other person to say yes repeatedly. Psychologically, when a person says no, their entire organism goes into a state of resistance. But when they start saying yes, the mind enters a more receptive flow. Don't be the one who owns the idea. Make them think the idea is their own. Patrick O'Hare, the sales representative. O'Hare was a tough-minded man who constantly argued with his customers and couldn't sell a single truck. After taking Carnegie's course, he changed his strategy. If a customer said, "White trucks are no good, I'm going to buy such and such brand," O'Hare no longer argued. Instead, he would say, "That brand is great. I'm sure it's a good choice." When the other party found no ground for argument and went silent, O'Hare would slowly start talking about the advantages of his own trucks. This courtesy, which broke down the defense, made him the company's top salesman. Be a leader. How to bring about change without offending people. Leadership isn't about wielding power, it's about creating influence. When a mistake is made, a true leader doesn't confront the person directly. They first talk about their own mistakes, then indirectly address the error. Giving orders creates obedience, but asking questions creates collaboration. Instead of saying, "Do this," saying, "How about we do it this way?" allows the employee to contribute their own ideas to the task. Charles Schwab and the Production Race. The story of the steel mill. To solve the low productivity problem, Schwab simply asked the foreman a question about a number. The number 6 he wrote on the ground, without giving a single order or making any threats, triggered a desire for excellence in the workers. Schwab knew that the greatest motivation for successful people was not just money, but the desire to win the game and the desire to be important. This simple chalk mark changed the entire work discipline of a massive factory. The power of appreciation in human psychology. Many people go weeks without showing appreciation to their spouses, children, or employees, even though they provide them with food every day. But appreciation is food for the soul. Carnegie emphasizes that we live in a world where people are hungry for recognition. If you want to change someone's life, honestly praise even the smallest talent you see in them. The Little Boy and the Mouse. This is where the story of young, blind Stevie Wonder comes in. When his teacher gave him the task of finding the mouse, she was actually giving him an identity. His teacher said, "Stevie, your hearing is a miracle." Until that day, Stevie had seen himself as disabled. From that day on, he began to see himself as a talent with special ears. 2 seconds of heartfelt praise from a teacher created one of the world's greatest musicians. Summary, application, and modern perspective. Final assessment. Making friends is not a technique, but a matter of character. If you use these principles merely as a mask, people will sense your insincerity. At the heart of these principles lies putting your ego aside and stepping into the other person's world. After finishing this video podcast, ask yourself this question: who can I make feel important today without expecting anything in return? Dale Carnegie's last lesson. Carnegie applied these principles throughout his life. One day, in a hotel where he received very poor service, instead of getting angry at the receptionist, he told her how difficult her job must be and how patient she seemed despite it. The girl's eyes filled with tears, and she said that single sentence had changed her whole day. Carnegie would say, saying a kind word to someone costs you nothing, but it can mean everything to them. Thank you for watching. Look at the people in your life differently today. Don't forget to subscribe and share the changes you experience when you apply these rules in the comments.